welcome to Makeup Obsessed Monday. In my video where I talked about the brushes, I had so many compliments on that eye look, I had to make sure I filmed it. What's great is I am going to use the palette I received in my Boxycharm. Remember this palette with the amazing tropical shades? This is the palette I used to create that eye look. Before I get into this, you need to make sure to like and subscribe and definitely turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a single video. Now, let's get into this palette and play with some fun summer shades. Before I touch any eyeshadow, I am going to actually go in with one of my secret little tips. And this is tape. I'm going to peel off 2 pieces and actually place them on the back of my hand. The reason why I'm putting them on my hand first is it will remove a little bit of the adhesive. So I'm going to peel it off and I'm going to line this up with my lower lash line and I'm going to create a nice sharp edge right here. So it's right like this. I want it to almost be like I'm going to create a wing. And I'm going to do my other one. I always think the second one's harder to do because you're trying to match up that first one and not tape your eyelashes. All right, that's good. I'm fairly even. They are sisters, not twins. Before I jump into my shadows, I'm going to conceal my lids just a little bit. I will be right back. As much as I love this palette, it did not have enough transition shades for me. So I need to actually jump into another palette first before I can dive into those colors. I'm gonna use my tried and true. You're gonna see how well loved this palette is. Are you ready? Look, it is dirty, it is hitting pan on some, it is loved. It shows that it's just a great palette. I'm gonna go in to some of the lighter shades, build up my transition before I jump into those colors. All right, I'm gonna go in with the lightest color, or the lightest brown, I should say, in the Jaclyn palette, and I'm just gonna place this in my crease, a little bit above, a little bit below. I just want that to be my transition shade. It's one of the ones I've hit pan on. You can definitely tell. It is so well loved. I will reach for that shade with just about any palette I own, whether I think it has a decent transition shade or not. Now my tape is coming up a little bit right here, so as you'll see, I'm gonna just press down as I do this because I want a really, really sharp line. And then I'm going to pick up the mustardy yellow and a little bit of the, I call it the baby poop shade. I don't know exactly, I think it's Pooter. I think that might be the name of it. I don't have the sheet that came with it, like that's long gone. I've lost that thing. So I just call them the way I see them. That is gonna go right in my crease. I'm not gonna bring it up very far and I'm definitely not bringing it down. I want the mixture of those 2 colors to stay right in my crease. All right, I am ready to jump in with some color. I'm so excited. I am going to use a teeny tiny brush. This is by Morphe and it's the MB19. I want a small brush because I'm gonna be working and creating a wing out here. It's easier to control when you have a smaller brush. I'm gonna pick up a bunch of shadow on my brush and then I'm going to take my setting spray. I am using the MAC Fix Plus Gold Light. It'll add just a little bit of gold flecks to it. I wet it and now I'm gonna start creating that wing. So I'm doing just a small line out like I would if I was doing a wing. And I'll get it as far out as I want. Pick up a little bit more shadow and then I'm going to draw a line over. Kind of like this. I am not going above my crease at all and I'm only going to come about halfway in with this shade. So definitely making sure I don't go above my crease. And I'm just gonna fill it in. And this is why you want a small brush. You wanna just take your time with this. And And then with what's left on my brush, I'm just gonna kind of tap it so that it fades inward, so there's not just a straight line. All right, I have one side done. I'm going to do the teal on this side. All right, I am actually gonna clean off my little brush that I am using. I want to use this brush because it's just the perfect size. It's the perfect density in bristles, and it just does a really good job with foiling the shadow. So I'm just using a tissue. I'm cleaning this off real quick. And then I am going to go into the gold shade that's in the palette. I'm gonna pick some of that up on my brush. And again, I'm going to use my setting spray. And this is the color that's gonna be on the inner part of my lid. And again, I am not going above my crease when I do this. And I'm gonna pat where the two come together and blend them together. I'm gonna do my other eye. I'm gonna go back in with the first brush I used, which is a Morphe M412, and pick up a little bit of the orangey shade that's in this palette. And I'm gonna use this very, very lightly and just make sure my crease is completely blended. I don't want to go very far down. I am using a very, very light hand with this. And I'm going to take a fluffy brush and I'm just going to make sure it is all blended. And then I'm going to remove the tape, maybe. And as you can see, the tape gave us a really nice sharp line. I'm going to just blend a little bit more, especially on this side. And I'm going to go in and just pat again with the brush I was using, just to make sure I have no harsh lines where these two shades meet. For my lower lash line, I'm going to use a Carity E23. This is a flat top brush, and I'm going to go into the dark brown shade in this palette, and I'm going to run this a little bit on my lower lash line. I'm not going to bring it in far, just a little bit. Using my e.l.f. crease brush, I'm going to pick up that orange shade, and I'm going to start running this all on my lower lash line, blending out that brown. I did not use a lot of it. It really doesn't need a lot. I just wanted a little definition. And as I'm blending this, you can see I'm bringing it up by the tail right here where I've made my wing, and I'm going under that. And then I'm going to blend it all out with my natural haired brush. I'm going to jump back over to the Jacqueline palette and pick up the shade in Light, and that is what I'm going to highlight my brow bones and my inner corner of my eye with. I'm going to do eyeliner and mascara off camera. I will be right back. All right, beautifuls, there you have it. It's actually not as difficult as you would think to do an eye look like this. It really is just about having the patience to do a little bit at a time and not go in with a large brush trying to cover this whole area. A smaller brush is definitely key to doing a really precise look like this. And then, of course, using our secret, our tape, to get those sharp edges. If you don't want to use tape because you're worried about it damaging under your eye, you can do the teal before you do your foundation and then go in with a makeup removing pen. This is by e.l.f. It looks like a marker, and what this has in it is it has makeup remover, and you can actually go in. I actually just touched the side of my face. I have a little line. It's that good, and it'll create a nice sharp line. You can clean up the edges. I love to have these on hand. They're not very expensive. It's great if you have a little oops, or like I said, if you don't want to use the tape, you can definitely use this to get that clean edge. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, definitely give us a thumbs up and subscribe. We want to know what you want, and by liking this video, it lets us know. Make sure you're notifications are turned on. I was going to say make sure your bell is turned on. Make sure your notifications are turned on by clicking the bell so that way you always know when we upload another video. And drop in the comments below, would you wear an eye look like this? I did this on a whim and I was absolutely loving it. I normally don't do the real sharp angular looks. I got so many compliments that day with my eye makeup. I was like, maybe I need to do this a little bit more and step out of my comfort zone of really blown out eye looks. So drop in the comments, would you wear something like this? Would you even wear teal? This is a great way to incorporate those bright colors. But beautifuls, until next week, remember to be you-tiful because you are the only you. Bye.